Yo, people, welcome back to another show. Welcome back to the Race for Europe show. Apologies for the delay. Blame Dan and blame Sam in the behind the scenes. Yeah, these guys couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. So we're here and still bringing you a show, man. You know what I mean? What these guys do, absolutely unacceptable. We got Pete, obviously repping Newcastle, Lawless repping West Ham. And joining us today, big up to the North Side, man, repping Arsenal there as well. Big up for coming on. Dan's not available to make the show, but on a real, blame them two for the absolute cock up tonight because it's their fault.
Typical Arsenal fans, eh? Sorry, North Side. No. Apologies for the strays, but typical Arsenal fans.
Yeah. Right. Listen. Yeah. I think for me, from my point of view, we can speak about the City game in a bit. Yeah, but obviously, I feel like content-wise, that's been done to death. The one thing that no one's speaking on enough. I'm not just saying this, Pete. Yeah, but we have to speak on Newcastle at the moment. I'm sure you're going to give us a passionate defense of why this isn't crisis mode. But another loss for a loss for Newcastle. It's not looking good, Brett. Injuries galore. I was looking at the injury list before, to be fair. It's pretty bad. Where are you in the table now?
You go.
You're seventh. You're even behind. You're behind Manchester United, mate. Which you're bad if you're behind Manchester United, bro. Champions League, it's not looking great there either, bro. What's going on, man? What's going on with Newcastle? Speak on this.
Okay, first and foremost, Bournemouth fully deserved their win. I thought Bournemouth were brilliant on Saturday. Fair play to them. I haven't got any issue with Bournemouth. Tom and the boys that do their podcast, absolutely spot on, guys. So yeah, they fully deserve the win. But there's more to it. There's more to it. You just touched on it. You touched on it, LB. But I'll go into the game. The game was flat from the beginning. I said to my boys Unloaded, it very much reminded me of the game we played there last season. We got a 0-0 draw there, and they probably could have and should have probably won the game last season. In the same vein, we looked tired. Our leaders in the team didn't really show up, and they looked tired. So Trippier was off the pace, Longstaff was off the pace. People like Joe Linton were off of the pace. Obviously, we had Bruno that was suspended as well, and they just even Shaw, who's been superb for us this season in the absence of Botman, looked tired, was off the pace. Like they just all were properly off the pace, and I think we had a couple of moments where we could have scored in the first half, maybe a 10-minute spell. But other than that, it was all Bournemouth. Like I can't even. You said that I put like a big passionate defence up about the performance. It wasn't good enough. But all the fans know it. The players know it. The manager knows it. Every single one of us have said it. It wasn't good enough. But we also could understand from our point of view that you've just touched on it. You've just looked at the injuries. Add 3 more to that. Add Miguel Almiron, who's had to pull out the international. See, he's done his hamstring. I'm shocked that Shaw got through the game because he did his hamstring in the first half and managed to hobble on and finish the game. And Longstaff, who I thought could have had a really bad ankle injury when the ball got smashed at him, not on purpose, but I thought he'd done his ankle and he managed to hobble through. So there's 3 more to add to the list as well. And look, we've said it before in the kind of Lawless, you came back at me when I mentioned the injuries probably about 3 weeks ago. I shouldn't be an excuse, and it shouldn't be, and I agree with you. But when you've got up to nearly 14 of your first team players out, when you've got pretty much probably a better starting 11 that are injured than you have available, like it was bound to take its toll, and it really did, in my opinion, look like it took its toll on Saturday. It really did, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm so glad for this international break. I'm so glad to have this 2-week break because the boys need it. I need it. I think everybody at Newcastle, kind of attached to Newcastle, needs it because we just need to see a few players coming back, and I think we will. I think Isak should be ready after the international break to play Chelsea. There's a chance that Botman could be back, and then there's a chance that Barnes could be back as well earlier than anticipated. So, they're 3 big pluses. They're 3 big players. You have those players on the bench or in the starting lineup at the weekend, And I genuinely think that there's a different outcome because we've got options to turn to. But
Yeah, Pete, let me ask you a
I can't
question, bro.
argue it's poor. It was a
Some
poor
people are, bro,
performance.
some people at Newcastle panicking. I mean, you obviously seen the clip with the Newcastle fan, Trippier hitting back. I know it's all been sort of dusted now, but do you think this is sort of showing signs that this squad is on cracks? Like there's nothing left, and that sort of because what happened between the fan and the player for me, that's not normal. That happens when the team is exhausted through injuries and whatever, and obviously that the fans are gutted because they want to be beating Bournemouth, right? I don't see Newcastle getting like lower than this, man, because like the amount of players. I mean, look at your team that played. I mean, who is Miley? You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm saying.
17-year-old making his
This is what I'm
debut
saying.
start.
You're on
Parkinson came
smoke,
off the
mate.
bench, also 17 as a striker. Made these players. I've talked about Miley right early on at the beginning of the season. He had a good pre-season for us, but he's just come back from glandular fever. Like he will be in our first team in the next 3-4 years. I guarantee it. But he's not ready right now. Not to start games in Premier League for me. But as you said, this is what we're resorting to at the moment, and this is why it's not just an excuse. This is a crisis. I think they went back and said the last time we had a crisis like this was sort of like the mid 2000s, I think 2007. Like we haven't had an injury list as big as this for that long. Like this isn't normal. That's not normal. But like going back to the fan issue, it was one fan. It was built up that the fans weren't happy. There are other alternative videos that go out that should clearly show the whole of the away supporting the players, chanting what we normally do on a match day, win, lose or draw. But you are going to we all have them where there's one fan that kind of comes out and makes kind of a point that is not happy. And he wasn't happy with the performance, but nobody was. And that's all. That was what Trippier's coming to. I saw it as, I might be wrong, but I saw it as Trippier showing his leadership skills. He's not shying away from anything. He could have just ignored that fan, gave a little clap, like a lot of players do from clubs, and just disappear, or not even acknowledge the fans at all. I mean, there's been times this season with Arsenal, with Man United, with I think even West Ham, you mentioned it, Lourdes, where players just disappear. Like they don't even acknowledge the fans after a really bad defeat, and it was a bad defeat. I saw Trippier being a leader there, fronting it up and going, hold on, like I'm willing to front this up. And he said, well, as he said in the video, he said, how many injuries we got? Like we're on our knees right now. We're in a difficult position, like backers. And to be fair, everyone else in that away end, apart from that fan, backed us. And to be fair, he got pelters for it on socials and in the away end. And he's come out with a written apology, and it's all done with now. But I saw that as more of a leadership on Trippier's part. I didn't see it as a crack. You get it from all fan bases. We've seen it plenty of times under previous managers. I think it was like a double whammy because we got beat comfortably. And then you get that at the end of the game. It does kind of read worse than what it actually was. But that's my opinion.
All right, enough, Pete. Enough of this now. You got to take your leave. I'm sick of hearing this now. You're sitting there trying to downplay everything and trying to, sit there and be Mr. Politician. I heard you getting your little violin out for this team. I'm looking at this lineup that you've put out here.
Yeah.
Pope, Trippier, Lascelles, Longstaff, Willock, Joelinton, Gordon, Almiron. These players, are you telling me those players, you're dismissing them as if they're some reserves that you've had to drag through, right, for Bournemouth? That team should be capable of beating Bournemouth. And this ain't just any season Bournemouth, Eddie Howe's Bournemouth. This is Bournemouth this season that can't buy a win to save their lives. And you should be worried because you can sit there and dismiss it, injuries. But if you're a serious team, right, and you're about this Champions League and you're about trying to get top four, you need that squad depth. And if some of these, you've got bona fide starters in there and then teams that will give the starters a run for their money from the bench. I'm not seeing some reserve team that's blowing fumes there. I'm seeing a good team that's much better than Bournemouth. Bournemouth could dream of having some of these players in their team. So I think we're overstating how bad it is and understating what a terrible result it is for Newcastle and what a bad performance it is, and cracks are showing. You've
I,
got to look at it.
I disagree, Lawrence. I disagree. I saw those players blowing fumes. We just had a tough trip to Dortmund. Dortmund, a fantastic team.
And what did I say at the
deserved
start of the
winners.
season? Talk about written apologies. Give me mine. Give me my written apology. What did I say to you?
I'm not apologizing to you for
What
nothing.
did I say to you when I didn't put you in whatever top 6 or whatever? And you was, I said the Champions League will take its toll.
Yeah,
now, what are you saying, Pete? The Champions League is taking its toll.
It is because we've got no other options. As David R's just put in the chat, look at the bench that we had to bring on to change the game, like every other top team has. Like you look at, as I've just said to you before, if we had a Botman, an Isak, if we had a Harvey Barnes, if we had those options to come off the bench, we lost Almiron before half time. Who was our option to
So
come
the
on?
starting 11 weren't good enough to do anything to
No,
is that what you're saying?
what I'm saying to you is that, and it goes back to my point, like they were running on fumes because that same team has been playing back-to-back games, whether it's been Saturday, Wednesday, we haven't had the option of changing these players. We haven't had the option of moving some of these players around. These players, like the likes of Longstaff, the likes of Pope, the likes of Shaw and Lascelles, Miguel Almiron, they've been playing every single minute. Right. At some point, those boys needed a rest. They looked shattered, and I'm not getting away from it. The performance wasn't good enough. We deserved to get beaten. As I said to you in the chat, Lawless, on Saturday, I took the 2-0 and I walked away with it because they probably could have put 4 or 5 past us.
That's embarrassing.
They missed gilt-edged chances, but this team was blowing on fumes. We went all out against Arsenal last weekend. In that battle, we went all out against Dortmund.
Can I ask Northside a question?
We continued to carry on that. But
I want to ask Northside a question. Is it true that in the Bournemouth game that their check to the referee bounced and that's why they lost? Because that's what I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans say is the check bounced on the weekend where it went straight through against Arsenal. Well,
I can't speak for them, man. I cannot speak for them, man. So I didn't see it. I'm just gonna do a Wenger. I didn't see it. You know what I mean?
You can full Wenger.
I didn't see it. For me, I just feel like Newcastle. I think we've played you guys. You beat us fair and square. I feel like you could have smashed us 3-0, if I be completely honest. But as a team, you guys play well, and it's not an excuse that you got certain players out. You can still put out a performance, even if you got certain players out. We didn't even see a performance. At least go down fighting against Bournemouth. I mean, come on. It ain't good enough. And I'm somebody I've praised Newcastle when I've touched upon Newcastle. I've praised you guys. But at the same time, you've got Almiron. I'm saying that the guy's hot and cold. When he's on form, he's unplayable. But then when he's rubbish, that field up with this trash. When he's not giving you a 10 out of 10 performance, the guy drops down to like a 4. And I'll be honest, you know what I mean? And then you've got Gordon, you know what I mean? The blonde Gary Neville. That guy against Arsenal should have scored at least a hat-trick. You know what I mean? But that guy, bro, is the blonde flipping Traore, bro. Like, the guy is very good with his build-up play, gets in front of goal, not clinical enough. You know what I mean? That's how I see Gordon. And then Joe Linton, he's great when he can be physical, but he's better utilized in the midfield. I know you got injuries and you got to move him out, but this guy, unless I see him in the midfield, I'm never really convinced. And even then, he doesn't deliver he doesn't deliver enough for me, if I'll be completely honest. I think you guys have got a manager that can get the best out of your team when you got the starting 11. Outside, obviously, your starting 11, it starts falling apart. You haven't got individuals, like world-class individuals in your team. I know you got Isak out and certain players out, but it just goes to show that you're very thin. I mean, I get onto my club that I don't think the bench is fixed when a lot of these Malikas be telling me, the bench is fixed. We bridge the gap with Man City. I don't think that your bench is that great. And I got to agree with Lawless that Europe is going to expose the fact that your squad ain't strong enough. And it's poor that your manager's been able to get the best out of your squad. Yes, you've got a lot of injuries, but where's the fight? Where's the desire? Trippier, yes, going up to the fans and saying, what's going on? We're trying our best. Bro, put in a performance, bro. Do you know what I mean? At my club, we got a lot of players that like to talk a lot. Just do your talking on the pitch. It's all great coming up to the fans or going on social media. Do your talking on the pitch. That's what you're paid for. Do your talking on the pitch. You know what I mean? At least if he's saying what he's saying to the fan, at least make sure that you're putting up a performance because you're one of the senior players in this squad. Do you know what I'm saying? And what kind of performance is that? I get that you're not in charge of the fact that the bench ain't resolved, but come on, man, he was one of the poorest players out there, bro. I'll be real. Like,
But Northside, this is what I said before. I think that's not normal. I think that shows signs that players maybe are mentally fatigued, physically fatigued, and whether you buy that as an excuse or not, I don't believe that Trippier does that. He obviously doesn't do it if everyone's happy because they're not in this situation. But I just think that shows you where Newcastle are at, that they are just, with all due respect, Pete, fucked. You know what I mean? You know, their team is on ice. Look at the fixtures coming up, and obviously you've got international break. You get some players back. You've got Chelsea, PSG, United, Everton, who are in form at the moment, and Spurs, who might have a players, and then Milan. Like, bro, this is a tough ask at the moment for Newcastle. Yeah. How do you assess the season so far, Pete? Because obviously you've had some great times for the fans that have gone over to the Champions League. Great memories. Obviously beating PSG 4-1. You're not out of the Champions League, but it's looking like a tough test. You don't want to fall too far away from that top four. Do you have any sort of concerns with potentially how the season could end up, or are you still confident that you can turn this around and get back into that top four? Because you know what I've said about Pete about Newcastle, yeah. I think Newcastle needs to be getting back in that top four again to become a consistent team. So, yeah, talk to me about how you see the season going, man. Can you turn this around?
Can we look? It's one defeat.
Pete, can you just add, if you're going to qualify for Champions League, as if you're going to get out of the group stages, add that as well, because I'm interested to know if you think you'll get
that. That was our first defeat in 7 games. We went 7 games unbeaten before that period of time. So, like, it's one defeat in isolation, and a poor one at that. I agree, 100%. But there's no reason for me or any other Newcastle fan to panic. We've still got well over half the season to go. And as I've said to you boys right from the beginning of the season, if we can get to Christmas and we can be anywhere in that top 8, I genuinely think our second half of the season will be strong. I genuinely believe that. And we get players back fit and firing. We're gonna buy in January. There's no doubt about it. We've been forced into it with the Tonali situation, but with the injury situation with certain players continuing to be injured. Wilson's obviously out for a few weeks now. We will go back into the market. There's no doubt about it. So for me, I think we can turn that around. But it is, and I go back to what you said, LB. We've had a tough set of fixtures, and we've got another tough set of fixtures because, you know, whereas other teams have had lesser teams and been able to rotate, whether it's in Europa, whether it's Europa Conference, whoever, it doesn't matter. They've had that opportunity in the Cups. In the Champions League, we've had the group of death. In the Cups, we've had Man City at home, Man United away, and now we've got Chelsea coming up. So there's no let up for any easy games. But as I've said to you before, like, this is why we're here. This is our first taste of playing and fighting at the top table for 15 years. Like, I'm not going to argue with this. I'm not going to argue with the fact that we're playing against all these top teams and we're under a top schedule. And like Trippier said in his interview after the game, yeah, poor performance, bad performance, dreadful even, as what I said. But this is why we're here. I'm not going to complain about the fact that we've got this tough fixture list, and neither should the players, and the manager isn't, certainly, because if we want to be you above me, if we want to get to where you are, which is what our chairman wants us to be, one of the best in the world, we've got to be able to do Wednesday, Saturday. So for me, I'm not complaining about the fixture list. I'm kind of, for me, I'm looking forward to seeing how and these players navigate themselves through that, because like, I want us to be fighting at the top end. I want us to be challenging for trophies. I want us to be in that top 4 and potentially top 5. And I still feel we're capable of doing it. I genuinely still think we're capable of doing it.
Final question. Do you accept that a point against Wolves was not a good point? Come on, man.
If anything, bro, after Saturday, it strengthened my argument.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, you're probably right. Actually, the way you guys are playing.
Like, Tottenham go there and get beat. You guys got beat. We nicked a point. If Errol was on there, it'd be licking his chops right now because he was the only one to go there and win with Liverpool. So yeah, it strengthened my argument.
I think it shows when you're challenging it at the top end of the table, whether it's for the league or to get into the top 4, the draws that kill you. And that's what Arsenal found out last season. And the fact that Man United are above you, Pete, it shows that draws are a killer. You know, and Man City are at the top.
It's 1 point. I mean, come on. Like, that could all change up. We played them.
Yeah, but I'm saying they've been shocking.
We played Chelsea and then we played them after. But what have we said? This is what Dan United, if Dan United was on here right now, he'd be saying exactly this. And I said this, which is why I still thought they'd be finished anywhere in the top 8. Because this is Man United. Man United always do this. They can be absolutely dreadful, but they'll still pick up enough points to still be in and around the conversation. They did it last season. They're already doing it again this season. They'll get smashed by Man City in the league. They'll get smashed by your Liverpools and your Arsenals, but they'll just pick up enough points against
They're not
these
going
other
along
teams.
collecting draws, Pete, and that's the thing. It's them draws, man. That can be. That's why I can see.
We've
We've had 4 draws this
level.
season. I'll just say this point: we've had 4 draws this season. This time last season, we had 6 draws. We were the team with the most amount of draws in the Premier League, or was up there as the most amount of draws last season. I think we had like 14, 15 draws last year.
I'm just saying, if you're a serious outfit, if you're a top club and you have ambitions for your team, don't celebrate draws, man, because the draws are what will cost you. Ask Arsenal last season; they were like, "Well, we ain't got." When we beaten same way this season, we ain't lost the game. Well, you're still below Man City, who have lost more than you. But guess what? They ain't got as many draws as you. So you're sitting there celebrating draws.
Wasn't celebrating. I was not celebrating that draw with Wolves. I'm saying it was a good point in the grand.
You was loving it. You was fighting LB tooth and nail.
I want Sam to
the only one that I did not. The West Ham draw is the one that I'm most disappointed about, because you know and I know.
Oh, shut up.
You got lucky. You
had the ref.
You
the check you not bounced for that game. And it's funny because I was watching the Arsenal fans talk about your game against them, and I was like,
remember
sounds
that.
familiar.
Remember
that. Sounds very
when
familiar.
you come to St. James's, it's on. It's
UFC on. Time. Is it UFC settings with Joe Linton? Yeah. That's elbows going on.
I hope it is. I do.
Yeah.
Lads, we're gonna move on to City, but before we do, final question, Pete. If obviously you don't qualify and get out of the group, would you rather be in the Europa League? Would you rather finish 3rd and go in the Europa League, or would you rather finish 4th and just focus on the league and focus on trying to get back in the top 4?
Europa League all day.
You
it's all about playing in Europe, man. You
cool.
know this. All you boys know this. Like West Ham are doing it back-to-back seasons, 3 years in a row now. Arsenal up there, Europa League, Champions League. You boys win everything. That's where we want to be. We want to be in Europe, fighting against as many of the top teams as possible. If it gives us a chance of fighting to win a trophy, we as fans and this club want to be there, because this is where we are right now. This is what this club for the last 2 years is now built on.
All right, bro. First, interesting.
By the way, LB, you're not going to be bringing no surprise D in it. People are asking for D, forgetting that this is Race for Europe and he's a Palace fan.
Listen,
he's had his little time. They're not going to be anywhere near Europe.
Nah, mate, he's not on the show. He's not on the show.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we'll move on to City. North side, I want to come to you on this one. City, obviously, dropping points against Chelsea. Title rivals, of course. Well, what do you make of the game? Do you think that maybe there's concerns for City? I've seen a lot of people try to get onto me saying, it was a fucking shocking defensive display, which it was. But I would say it's sort of like a one-off, because we've never seen that happen really before. What's your take on yesterday's game, man, and sort of like the wider context of the league at the moment?
When's the last time City have conceded 4 goals? I wouldn't say it's time to panic, but it was quite shocking. I felt like it was a game of whose defense was the worst. You know, a lot of times I feel like it was very, very poor from Thiago Silva. Yes, he got a goal, but at certain times his man marking. I mean, I look at the game where Saliba up against Haaland. Yes, he didn't have any service, but the way Saliba handled Haaland, there was a shot where Haaland one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Thiago was nowhere near him. I mean, what's going on there? Do you know what I mean? Haaland really should have scored. But the same I could say about Chelsea, Cucurella at times, not close enough to his man. Diaz, last-ditch tackles. Like, why are you doing last-ditch tackles in the box? I mean, for me, as soon as a defender's doing last-ditch tackles is because you're not reading the game properly. You're not marking your man. And, you're trying to rectify an error. But I think ultimately it was poor from both sides defensively. I think going forward, it was very good. I think the penalty was a bit harsh, if I'll be honest. I think Cucurella and Haaland were both pulling each other. I don't think Cucurella dragged him down so hard that it should have been a penalty. But then again, at the same time, as a defender, you need to be smart. The attacker's going to play to what you're doing. If you're tugging him, he's going to go down. He's going to look for the penalty. Can't really knock him. I'll do the same if I was in Haaland's position. But at times, Vardy and Diaz's defending was so poor, getting exposed so many times. Walker needed to do better as well for the Sterling goal, completely just allowing him through. It was so many defensive errors. For rivals, it was an entertaining game to be watching it. But if I was a fan of either team, I'd be frustrated. I mean, what's going on? What is going on? You know, allowing crosses through the ball, no one marking their man, everyone ball watching. Do you know what I'm saying? Jackson for the, Gallagher taking the shot, then Jackson all your defenders at Man City were just ball watching. Jackson in the box, no one picks him up. He scores. I mean, for me, it was really, really poor. Not enough to panic because you've got a manager that you can actually trust that's been there and done that. I wouldn't panic. If I was a City fan, I wouldn't. But it is poor. The levels dropped tremendously. I rate Diaz. I rate Vardy. But let's just call it for what it is. It was poor, man. Even from Walker. I mean, it was, man, just everything in terms of your defense was absolutely trash.
Yeah.
Like Sterling cooking, Palmer cooking. So yeah, man, that's how I look at the game. It was just who had the worst defense. Ultimately, both attacks saved both teams, but I think Chelsea took more from that game than Man City did because Chelsea should not be scoring 4 past you, in my opinion. But it's a point, isn't it? And you move.
Yeah, listen, I was at the end of the game. I was in a weird mood. I didn't know whether to be happy with a point or not. Now, obviously, I can't be buzzing with a point. You win in the 92nd minute. You know what I mean? If you don't win the game when you're winning in the 92nd minute, then you can't be buzzing. But at the end of the day, we defended horrendously. That I'm almost just like, how the bloody hell did we get a point? You know what I mean? When you see the goals that we conceded, all of them were absolutely diabolical from a defensive point of view. So, yes, I know we should have won the game in terms of how we went up. We was leading 3 times, we was leading the 92nd minute. But honestly, I'm sitting there thinking, how the bloody hell did we even get a point? We're top of the league, we're 1 point clear. We move. But it was concerning. I've always said, weirdly, it sounds proper weird, yeah, but Walker does better against players like Mbappe and Rashford, who are tall, strong, more direct. If he does struggle against players, which he doesn't struggle a lot, it's against the smaller guys, the more agile guys, the Sterlings, who, by the way, how he didn't get man of the match, I have no idea. It was so forced from Sky Sports to give it to Cole Palmer. I mean, that was just a false narrative. Oh, Farm, Manchester City boy, he's got it. I mean, Sterling was by far the best player on that football pitch. But yeah, listen, it was one of them. I ain't gonna lose. I'm gonna lose my shit over it. I thought defensively we were shocking. It's a one-off. When was the last time we defended like that? Probably going back to Leicester back in 2020 before we even had Diaz. Then there's news coming about Diaz's girlfriend apparently got carjacked the day before the game. That's probably going to impact his head, to be honest with you, which is a bit of a madness. But it is what it is. We move. We're still top of the league, so I ain't really crying about it. It's just it was a bit of a mad game, buzzing because it's a top game of the season probably. But yeah, Pete, Lawless, any comments?
I thought it was a superb game of football from the outsider looking in. I agree. I thought both defenses were shocking. I was surprised by how bad Man City defended time and time again. I thought when you were when you got that 4th goal, I thought, right, you're going to learn from mistakes now. You're going to shut up shop. I almost expected some of your players to go, right, we sit in now and we see this out, but he didn't. He kept going for it. I was thinking, what is going on here? Because they were exposing you time and time again. And players like Sterling and Cole Palmer were just exposing those little gaps and little spaces opening because you were throwing men forward, and that's how they managed to hit you. And look, this is how Chelsea want to play. They did something similar to Arsenal. They like to play in those spaces and counter-attack. They will play, Chelsea this season will play better football against the better teams than they will against the lesser teams, because the better teams will come out and want to beat Chelsea. They'll see Chelsea as a team that they can expose and beat, just like Man City did. You scored 4 goals. You exposed them time and time again. Probably could have had 5 or 6. But when you go forward, they've got that pace, they've got that directness in and behind that can create them a lot of moments. And they did that. And the surprising thing is that Pep and Man City didn't learn from their mistakes because they kept doing it. They would get in front, and then you would expect to say 5-10 minutes, just hold, sit position, break it down, make it difficult for them, make them run around, and we keep the ball like we normally do, and then let's then open up again afterwards. And they didn't. They just kept letting them back in. But look, it's one game. It's one game. That will definitely benefit Chelsea more than Man City. Chelsea will take a lot of confidence from this, managing to pick up a point, and I think that might elevate Chelsea's season. But for you guys, yeah, it's back to the drawing board, and I think Pep's got some work to do, particularly with that defence.
The one thing I'd say on the defence, Pete, is I'm not as worried. I'm almost happy that there were individual mistakes. It's not like our defence was like out of shape, or you got players 2 yards forward and 2 yards back, and we've got no defensive line. You got players pressing. It sounds weird to say, but I'm almost happy that it was just a shed load of individual errors. You know, like Gvardiol for the Sterling goal. Just kick the ball out of play. You've lost your man. Just kick it. Just kick it out for a corner. Just say I've lost a man. Kick it out for the corner. Diaz going in for the tackle. That's rash. That's someone who is panicking. Bro, just stand him up, mate. It's Brogy. He's probably not going to put it in the top bin. Just close him down and block the shot. Do you know what I mean? For the final goal, it's the 92nd minute of the game. Why all our midfield decided to go sprinting forward and press whoever had the ball, leaving only Kovacic in the middle? I mean, how has Sterling got that much space in the middle? So there are things to work on. I think defensively, there's actually nothing to work on other than, guys, just stop making dumb mistakes, because that's what it was. I think the midfield is probably something to work on. But listen, I'm still chilling. I'm still thinking we're going to win the league. I don't think Arsenal have got enough. I think they've gone backwards since last year. I think we probably slightly regressed, but I think Arsenal have gone backwards since last year. You know what, right? Liverpool are the ones that I'm thinking of. And I said this at the start of the season, yeah. Potts kept on asking me, LB, who do you think? I kept on saying Liverpool. He kept on pushing me. Anyway, flip-flop, didn't I? I went back to Arsenal. But Liverpool, mate, their attacking lineup is dangerous with Salah, Nunes. Now Van Dijk seems to be showing a bit of form as well. They're second in the league. No one's really spoke about them, to be honest with you, because everyone's been bloody getting on the back of Ange, who's now... It's a shame that they're not in Europe, so we couldn't have cooked them on this show. I might just go rogue in it and just fucking start cooking. I'm sure Potts won't mind. But yeah, man, like Liverpool to me look like a dangerous team. But Lawless, man, speak on title race. What are you saying?
Yeah, look, I've never flip-flopped. I've said it from day one, never changed it. I think Liverpool will get second. And that's not to say Arsenal. I said to them at the start of the season, Arsenal, it's not sustainable for them to be as good as they were last season. That came out of nowhere. A lot of teams weren't expecting it. There was a bit of a surprise package. And now, I've said this before, and I said this, Arsenal fans will go mad when I said this. Teams are going to be paying Arsenal a lot more respect, setting up in a way where, you know, they're going to try to stifle Arsenal and not go toe-to-toe with them as much because of how good they were last season. You've got the added Champions League demands and things like that. They're already talking about injuries. So yeah, it just, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. And like you said, with them, obviously Arteta's trying to do something different, which is, you know, stifling their attack. I know they've scored banging goals against Sheffield United and against the likes of Burnley, but in other games they seem to struggle a bit more. But there's no way they're winning the league. I still think Man City walks it, but Liverpool, I think, will be second. But again, to call it a challenge would be like you feel like Liverpool could realistically win it, and I don't. People get excited every time Man City drop a point, like a couple of points. They go, "Oh my God, Man City implode!" And then Man City go on a mad run, and then they all start crying. It's just.
I noticed that last night, bro. I've seen so many people was getting up, rival fans getting up. I was like, "Relax, man. We're top of the league." Yo, Northside, let me bring you in on this because Lawless made a good point there, and I agree with him. Yeah, is that. I think this year teams are paying Arsenal a lot more respect, making it sitting deeper than they probably did last year, making it more difficult because they respect you as a team. But at the same time, Arteta's fundamentally changed the way this team is playing to have more control is the sort of narrative, but you're not creating as much. I don't think it's sustainable as well. What you saying about Arteta and his tactics and the way this is going, man?
Listen, LB and Lawless, you lot better go hiding. These top reds are going to be coming out for you. You know what I'm saying? They get rattled real quick.
We get them in the chat every week. Every week in the chat.
They get rattled, bro. They get rattled. I'm telling you, they get rattled so easy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's absolute facts. It's facts, but they won't learn. They won't learn because they want to continue going down this youth project, even though we're on our third youth project and we've not won no major honours. But apparently, this field that Arteta is the answer. Bro, it's an absolute joke. I told these man, at the start of the season were predicting, oh, we're going to win the league. Oh, the bench is fixed. Oh, we won the Community Shield. Oh, look at us. No, oh, we can do it this season. Arteta's definitely going to win a major honour. That field that ain't winning nothing, bro. The guy is a bum. He's an absolute bum. That Jorginho guy does nothing. That field that doing nothing, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm so sick and tired of this guy, bro. You know what I mean? And Kai Havertz, he was misunderstood in Chelsea. That flipping German dinosaur. I'm sick and tired of that flipping German Doctor Who stepping into that flipping telephone booth and teleporting for 90 minutes. Oh, but look at his defensive XG. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. The only midfielder at Arsenal that we've been rating is Declan Rice, and he's just come in. I've been telling, even when we beat Man City, I've been telling people are going to get excited, yeah? Oh, we beat Burnley. Oh, but we're getting the 3 points, yeah. We're getting the 3 points. You man also told me after we beat Sheffield United, oh, Nketiah, make your apologies louder than your criticism. And then now all of a sudden, oh no, we prefer Trossard. Oh, the front three looks better. I've been telling these guys, yeah, it ain't good enough. When you look at our bench, it's the same bummy ass stinking filuta puta bench that we had last season. A man are trying to tell me that the bench is fixed with Fabi Vieira on the bench, Kivior on the bench, Mohamed Adene on the bench, Reece Nelson and Nketiah. This is the same pucaria we had last season. What happened? We bottled it. And these men, we're level on points to Man City. We went into January last season when we were 8 points clear and we bottled it. And then this fan base come out with, because we had a light bench. We have the same problem, Fido da Puta, and we can't say bigger fish to fry because now we've got the Champions League. But no, these men want to make people like me, people like Lee, more accountable for what we say, but we're yet to be proven wrong. At the end of the day, I keep seeing the same crap. The fact that this manager's shoehorning Kai Havertz, I'm telling you, it ain't working. Jorginho and Kai Havertz midfield, we got touched against Newcastle. We got touched against West Ham. And I said that we would get touched because that midfield ain't strong enough. But you know what it is with Arsenal? Until it's mathematically undone that we can't win the league, just get behind the boys. Just get behind. Don't call anything out. Just like they didn't call out last season that the bench was like when I called it, that we don't have a world-class striker. Now all of a sudden, let's get Ivan Toney. Why didn't you call for it before? Why didn't you? No. Let this flipping boat sink, this title race sink like the Titanic going down with the violins playing and we're sinking slowly. Then these men are going to call it out. That's why, for me, I don't really give a crap that we beat Burnley. Like, I'm happy with the result. What's it mean? 4 years in a process, almost touching £1 billion that we're spending, and I'm yet not favourite to win a major honour. Oh, but you can't compete because of Man City. We can't compete because of Man City. Then why are you, man, gassing up this process to me? If this process ain't about winning, don't gas it to me. If you don't believe that we can win the Champions League or the Premier League, don't gas. I don't want to hear no pucaria, tô cansado. I don't want to hear it, bro. My team is not good enough, and I've been calling this out. But then, when we lose Talons, maybe we can go into January and get some players. Well, isn't that the same situation that we had last season? But you man are telling us that, trust the process. We're going to win the league. There's nothing for me to be happy about because I know that ultimately this season we ain't going to win nothing. Nothing, we ain't going to win. And I know that it makes a lot of these top reds cry. I couldn't care less, yeah? Because I got Copium 1 and Copium 2, yeah? And at the end of the season, I'm collecting apologies. These Filish Laputa will not, I'm not going to rest.
Yeah, but Northside, listen, look at this, man. Answer this question then, bro. Because this guy's saying we're doing well in the Champions League. We're joint second. What's the problem, man?
Okay, cool. So, did Man City not catch us up with 8 points? Yeah? 8 points we were clear, yeah? They caught us up, right. We still don't have rotation for Saka. We still don't have a world-class striker. We don't have a number 10 that can play through the press. We don't have a deep line playmaker that can actually connect our defense to attack. We don't have rotation for our centre-backs because when Saliba got injured, if only Saliba didn't get injured, we would have won the league. Well, guess what, Filo da Puta? We had Kivior as the option for the centre-back and we still got the same pucaria this season. So what's changed? We're still persistent with playing Zinchenko. He looks great against Burnley. Did he look great against other teams that actually that win the midfield battle and come for us? Did we? No, we didn't. But you know what? Arsenal fans, they want to put them 3D glasses that you get for free from flipping Cineworld that don't make you see properly. And it's, phase 4, let's get excited. Cool, end of the season. I don't want to hear no crap. Sack this this Arteta with his plastic weave that it looks like he bought from Pepper Market. I'm sick and tired of it, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It ain't good enough. And I'm annoyed because once again, we are not going to win anything. Man, I'm talking about Champions League. Name me the last time we won something in Europe. We got slapped up in Baku. We don't even take the Europa League serious. Why are we going to win the Champions League with a light squad and a light bench? Yeah, Newcastle, cool, they don't have a bench. Their manager ain't been there for 4 years, spending £700 million. Look at the crap on the bench, re-signing El Nini and Reece Nelson. Do you believe in these players? No, they won't. But you know what? Let them cry. Let them cry, because at the end of the season, yeah, like Rick Ross says in his album, God Forgives, I don't feel that I'm going to be unbearable. And I've got all the receipts on my channel of all the crap that you man been speaking. Do you know what I'm saying? You man are getting cooked. I couldn't care less. Do you know what I'm saying? I ain't on here for popularity. I'm on here to speak facts. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, innit? You man keep crying, innit? End of the season, oh, the light bench, oh, this, oh, that. We can't compete because of Man City. I see my club compete against Ferguson. And I never heard about, oh, we can't compete because it's Ferguson. What kind of buggery is this? Sick of it, bro.
What about next year, though, Northside, man? If this year isn't the year, what about
come on, LB,
Don't
man.
do that, man. Don't do that.
You know what? It's pretty damning, though, that you sat there, basically, you tore through your squad depth and said, you know, what we got on the bench, we need this, we need a number 10, we need a deep line playmaker, we need this, we need that. And with how much money that you have spent, you've spent so much money and you still need so much more. That's pretty damning on the manager, if you ask me, because that suggests that money's not been spent nearly as well enough as it should have been. You know,
Bro, sorry. I was going to say, just to add to that, because Laws made a really good point, and I don't know this, so you might know this, Northside, more than me. There's a lot of talk now because of that type of money that's been spent, 700+ million, that Arsenal allowed come into that cap of FFP, and that they can't spend anymore at that point. Now, you might know that more than me, and for me, 700 million over that period of time, no trophies, looking like you regress. These boys know. I thought you kind of grinding out wins showed a different element to you, but
you were celebrating their draws, Pete. You were sitting there going, at least they didn't lose.
No. I wasn't celebrating their draws. What I'm saying, when they went to teams like Palace and were grinding out wins, when they were grinding out wins against teams were not
and
playing
draws, grinding out draws.
No, not true.
Yes, you was, Pete. At least they're not losing this one, Pete.
I wasn't celebrating draws. Why would I celebrate an Arsenal draw? Like I'm saying to you.
But you was picking them up as in like.
People can go back and watch the shows. I was never celebrating draws. I'm saying they were grinding out results. And I did say that if they're grinding out results now, the tables will turn and they'll start playing that football. But genuinely looking at the team now, yeah, look, you talked about it, Northside. I expect you to beat Burnley comfortably. I expect you to beat Sheffield United comfortably. Like, they're results that I don't even look at with regards to Arsenal. But I'll be honest, I expected you to start playing better football now. You didn't against us last weekend. You played all right football against Burnley, but I still don't see it. And that was the thing. And to be fair, Lourdes, you questioned this to me. You were saying, what if they don't start playing better football? And I said to you at that point that they will struggle. They won't hit the heights that they did last season. And it's looking like that they're not going to play any better.
Bro, we've got our fullbacks creating more than our flipping midfield. We've got Saliba at times running past our midfield to provide for our front three. This is what we're looking at. We spent £170 million the last transfer window just on the midfield. And this is the bucaria that I see. This is the crap that I see after me waiting 20 years for this bucaria. Let me say it in the most simplest way for all these Arsenal fans that want to cry and I couldn't care less. I could not care less. Yeah? If you got a kebab shop, let me put it in the most simplest. If you got a kebab shop, are you going to put somebody that works in shoe zone to run the kebab shop? No, you don't. So why have I got a novice at my club? Because at the end of the day, I don't see no evolution in anything. I don't see the evolution in the way that we're playing. We've got Jorginho. Oh, he recycles the ball. Is this Arsenal Thames Water recycling plant? Play the ball forward, caramba. Havertz walking. What's he doing, bro? What is he good at? Oh, he's a good header of the ball. 2 times this guy, bro, in the first 2-3 minutes, bro, against Burnley, he had a free header, no one on him. That giraffe reached up and he heads it wide, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? This guy's a bum. Do you know what I mean? It's not good enough, bro. Saka, why have we not got rotation for Saka? Oh, we don't like Pepe. Pepe's not good enough. Do you trust that bum, Reece Nelson, that looks like flipping Sully from Top Boy? Do you trust him? Because I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm done with him, bro. But because he's part of the Project Youth, oh, he'll go out with the new merchandise. Did you see the new merchandise? This club is finished. New merchandise for winning nothing. The Jumanji, bro, the snakeskin kit. Did you see that? Sucking up more money for what? For what? Win me a title, puta. I'm sick and tired of the merch. Go win me a title. It ain't good enough, bro. Tomiyasu was showing up Zinchenko. Oh, Zinchenko looked good. Play him in the midfield then. Fabi Vieira ain't looking good enough. So play Zinchenko, bro. He plays that position for his country. When I said that before the Burnley game, they laughed at me. Then after the Burnley game, oh, Zinchenko, yeah, he's a good midfielder. Why were you laughing for? Why are you laughing? Because Jorginho ain't the answer. It ain't good enough. Declan Rice is putting our whole midfield to shame. Against Man City, those 2 times he could have received the ball in the box and scored. But Nketiah was selfish and Saka was selfish when they should have squared it to him. They should have squared it to him and they didn't. Yeah? That guy is carrying the ball, creating chances, defending, trying to shield the back line. That is embarrassing. He's just come from West Ham. He should be adjusting to the team. But he's one of the very few that look like they even care. It is a disgrace, bro. My CDM is having to play a number 10, a number 8, and a number 6, bro, for this team. That is a shambles, bro. And people think the bench is fixed. And then we're on with a novice that's never done it. Let's keep it real. We got second. Arsenal, we got second last season. Yeah, what did we need to do to get there? We had to go out of all competitions, and the best we got is second. We got 2 competitions this season. Is this manager going to be able to do it with a bench that everybody's now telling me we need to go in? January is pivotal. Pivotal. Why? The bench is fixed. Go with your players. Don't tell me about injuries. You man didn't riot and speak out about El Nene getting a new contract. You man told me, oh, Nketiah in the room doing bum twerks like it's Ace of Spades on flipping TikTok about Nketiah getting a new contract. You man didn't write about it.
That's what I was going to ask you about it, bro. You got Nketiah and Reece Nelson that I think have signed long-term contracts recently. Like, what do you think about that? And you didn't answer the question about FFP because I still don't know. Are you guys at your limit right now or not? Both of those questions.
Bro, there's always an excuse. Apparently the bench is fixed. Now January is so pivotal. Apparently this manager's in, oh, now we're going back to playing control football. Oh, we don't have money. It's all excuses, bro. It's all excuses. Why is it when we was in phase 1, the excuse was, oh, we're playing this football because this manager needs his players. Now he's had all his players. He's had like 20 odd signings, including re-signing players that you can get rid of. Like you got rid of Rob Holding, re-signing El Nene, etc. Now it's, oh, we reverted back. Basically, control football. You're telling me we're reverting back to the football that we played in phase 1, which is more counter-attacking football. That is what we're playing now. But we don't want Simeone. Oh, no, he's washed. Oh, no, we don't want him. We don't want winners at this football club. The same way that when I wanted Ancelotti, when he was available, when he went to Everton, we should have went from, oh, we don't want Ancelotti. He's at Everton. That filled up has gone to Real Madrid, a proper team with the proper standards and proper money. And look what he's winning. Where this manager, we're hoping that he's going to win something. And when he doesn't win anything, oh, but we put the pressure on. Put the pressure on. Do you rate Poch? Do you rate Brendan? Do you rate any of these managers that are nearly men? Ole. These men talk crap, bro. It's all to look good online. It's all to look good online. And at the end of the season, I don't see them in my channel. So I just let them keep going, clown emojis and everything else like that. I'm going to be so smug at the end of the season. These people that will get on.
Listen, I'll say this about Arsenal fans, yeah. I think the ones that are Arteta in still, if they don't win the league this year or the Champions League, which is not going to happen in my opinion, and they don't win it next year, the reason I think they find it so difficult and they're so defensive is because then if they come over to the side of Arteta out, they've got to accept that this process has failed. And that basically means, if we're being real, the last 5 or 6 years has been a complete waste of time. Because that's effectively what they're saying. If this is a process, the process is to lead to success, which is winning the Premier League or Champions League. If that doesn't happen and you sack the manager, effectively what you're telling me there is the last 5, 6 years has just been a complete waste of time. And I think that's why it's so difficult for them. a lot of them to accept. Listen, there are still a lot of Arsenal fans who are Arteta in. Maybe they're just backing a manager or whatever, but there are some that probably want to come over to that Arteta outside, but they're just too scared of accepting that basically the process has failed. Listen, big up to you lads. Thanks for coming on, man. We was going to speak about, Villa and that, but standard win for them. Maz has bottled it again. No surprise there. Brighton failed to win. And does this guy only turn up? Only turns up when he's winning. Turn up when he wins. This is not acceptable,
no win,
man.
no Maz. That's the slogan.
But this
no
isn't
win,
fair,
no
Lawless. There needs to be some sort of punishment, man. Something here, because this is not acceptable that you can just not turn up. Like Pete is holding it down, man. Pete is holding it down. So we need to
win, lose or draw. You know for a fact, boys.
100%.
You know for a fact. We've had worse performances and worse defeats. That Liverpool one.
No, listen, I get all the credit because look what I've turned up for, Pete. After we lost to Everton, look at the results. I still turn up, and look what happens here when we get a win. All of my haters disappear. Where are they? Where's no Errol, no Dan Potts, no Dan United? Yeah, where are these guys?
It was a little bit like this. It was a little bit like this though for you boys. Let's not lie. Come on. It was a little bit tricky for you boys against Forest. They looked like at one point they were going to take the points.
Well, wait, Pete. Where's the same energy you give Arsenal? We grinded out a win. We grinded it out. That's good, isn't it? That's a mark of a good side. We're going to be contenders, aren't we? Surely, because that's what
you said. You said you were going to be title contenders.
Give me that energy, Pete. Give me the energy you gave Arsenal because we grinded out. You like that? None of these dominant teams. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We didn't smash them 4-0, 5-0. Now that wouldn't be good. We grinded it out. That's what's really good, Pete. That's what you like. So give me my credit, give the flowers. I'm going to take it. International break, must win. And yeah, we go in. Look, I'm just on vibes until the end of the season. And I see what the situation is. We get a new manager going in a new direction. Until then, whatever will be, will be. It was a tough one. I needed this win, man. I was getting too much smoke on this channel.
I'm always around West Ham.
I was glad we're above Palace again. So people sending me screenshots of, oh look, Palace are above you. Like we're getting bantered by Palace fans who never won a trophy in their entire history. It's not going well. So you know what I mean? We got Burnley next. We can beat Burnley and do backflips over that.
This is your easy run though, Lawless, isn't it? This is your easy run though, Lawless. You have to be picking up these points, surely. You have to be picking up these points.
6 points, minimum 4 of next 2, 6 points. Then we got Spurs, who are injury ridden. This is it now. Come back from international break and go on a run. Kudus is too good to be on these losing sides, man. Bangers of a goal.
He looks all right. I don't like him on that right hand side though. I think he's a good player, but do you not think he's a bit? I don't know. When he tried to go around the outside of that guy, I just thought he didn't really look like he had. He's left-footed, isn't it? He's left-footed. You can probably tell.
I think he is more of a right winger than a left winger, though. I think he prefers the middle.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think he'd be better in the middle of the park, me. The way that he plays. I don't think he's. No, don't get me wrong. He's still a great player out on the right side. I think and bear in mind, I've not seen that much of him, but what I have seen, I just think he looks like he'd be better in the middle because he's got the strength, he's got the power. And, I just think he'd be better in the middle. As he played,
the mad thing is, we got him for cheaper than Arsenal got Havertz. Like, Arteta was like, nah, Kudus, he ain't the guy, man. This Havertz guy, this is the guy. Kudus, nah, he's not good enough, mate. It's all about Havertz.
I like Paqueta. I think
Paqueta as well.
A top player.
That's what I mean. We've got some ballers in this team. We should be doing bits. We shouldn't be sitting there getting beaten by Everton and slapped 4-1.
Yeah, but you are doing bits. You're top of the Europa League, bro. You're going to qualify there. You're going to be in the knockout rounds of the Europa League. That's sick. You're 9th in the Premier League. What? Like I say this sincerely. Like, what more do you want from this West Ham team? Is this not like? For me, this is almost as good as it probably gets at this current stage with the current ownership as it gets for us. You're not going to be in the top 6, top 7, are you?
He wants a title challenge, LB. You know this. You've been saying it.
You know what it is? This is what I say to the Moyes fans, right? People that love Moyes is if Moyes got sacked, or me saying that I want to change a manager isn't me saying what he has done to date has not been good enough, has not been acceptable. I'm looking future, long term. And my worry is if we have these ballers and we play dead football and we aren't playing in Europe next season and we haven't got a trophy or whatever, and they're looking at it and going, wow, okay, we're going to still play under this manager playing this dead football. And now we're not got Europe and we finished in mid-table. Yeah, I'm not seeing no project. There has to be a project. I'm not going to say process. I'm going to say project. Trust the project. Right? You know what I mean? I don't want to waste these players that we have now because of where we're going. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you don't just sack a manager because they deserve to be sacked. I said this on my review show. At the same time, the best way to do it if you're a well-run club is not just wait for things to completely implode to sack your manager. Don't just wait for, we're on the face of relegation and so we're going to sack him. If otherwise, we'll keep him. No, sometimes you go and say, yeah, this manager's stabilized us. He's got us in a good position. Now it's time to change to see if we can level up and find someone who can
Lawless, if they do that, there's also a risk that it doesn't work as you're saying, and it could backfire, and you could end up in a relegation zone. So if that happens, you, as a West Ham fan, you, as someone who calls for that, you have to hold that. You can't then be coming out blaming the owners. You can't be coming out blaming the players. You have to own that if you decide to go from this stable position, because that's what you describe it as a stable position, if you decide to trade that in for the risk of glory and it backfires, you got to hold that. You can't be blaming no one else.
Pellegrini.
Shouldn't he be aiming for that? We saw at Everton, yeah. How long did Everton had Moyes, yeah? And it was stable, and it didn't go anywhere. I can't really blame fans, LB, for feeling like that. Because
no, I don't blame him north side. What I'm saying though is if it goes south, you can't then be saying, oh well, the players or the owners or whatever. You got to hold it and say that's the trade.
If they go and get Steve Bruce, LB, then I can. If they go,
obviously though. If they go and get some guy from Spain, some next level manager who plays some sick football, and that's the deal. You got to shake hands on the deal that it might not work and then it might end up But then you got to hold that. Do you accept that deal?
I accept that deal. I will hold that, right? If that happens, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? If you stagnate for so long, you're eventually going to start to drop. You have to make a move. You have to try something else. You have to twist it up. Otherwise, you can't sustain this. So we're doing well now, but what are we going to change to make sure that we're going to be up there from season on season? Rather than just being content and go, you don't deserve to be sacked.
Would you take Arteta? Would you take
Arteta? Project Youth. Trust the process.
Do you know what? Arteta is a good example, right? And it's a similar thing because Arteta, you can look at it and say, ultimately, to a point, he sort of stabilized, got you to a good point, but then there's a ceiling. Do you know what I mean? Like again, he's always that manager that he got you there, but he can't take you over the line. So maybe at a club like West Ham, who knows, he'll get us a little process and do some new thing. But he's similar like Moyes in our respective clubs. I think both clubs to get over the line for us to try and, maybe sustain Europe or win another trophy or get Champions League, maybe do a Newcastle. We have to make a change. And for Arsenal to get that big trophy, they have to now say, thank you for bringing us where you are. We've got some good players. We've got some youngsters. Now we need to do something else. And that's what it is. So, I look at it like that. People get defensive going, oh, why do you want more? He's done so much for you. Yeah, great. Thank you. But this club, you know what I mean? We want to build from here. We want to go further.
No, and I agree. And I completely agree. That is a fair option. Northside was right to highlight it. I just got to say, it doesn't always work like that. I'm not comparing the sizes here, but if you remember Stoke, they were very, very sort of chilling in the Premier League. They was a solid team under Pulis. All of a sudden, they were like, no, we want to move next level. We want to play some nicer football. We want to push on. Now they're in the Championship.
Yeah, you know timing is, this is the thing, LB. Timing is everything. And having someone that oversees this project, we've got Tim Stuyton. I bring him up a lot. He's the one who's been signing players like Alvarez are going, listen, come and join my project. It's his project. He has to now oversee it and go, okay, these are the players, the profile of players we've got. This manager needs to fit this style of how we want to play going forward and go from that. And that's the thing. And I think Everton fan made a good point. Is the thing is with Moyes, obviously they kept him for so long. Eventually, Man City come and nicked him and then left Everton in the lurch, and they've never been able to recover since. So the timing, they kept on to it for so long to the point of, he ended up just going at the wrong time and leaving them in the lurch, and they went to shit. Like, you need to get rid of them when things are good. Like I said, when you're strong, when you feel like we can build, then don't wait for it all to implode. And then you've got to rebuild and try and start again and claw and scratch your way up. So, yeah, Mr. Stable, thank you. Good job. Thanks for the trophy. Good luck.
Statue on. I got you a trophy, innit? Statue, European trophy.
Statue. Whoa. Listen, John Lyle and Ron Greenwood ain't got statues for the FA Cups and the European trophies, mate. He can get to the back of the queue for them trophies, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not.
You wouldn't be against it. You wouldn't be against it, though.
Yeah, I would. I would be against it. I'd protest it. They ain't get no trophy before these big legends are getting
a Europa League this season, though. A Europa League trophy this season.
Then I'll be protesting him to get a trophy. If he wins the Europa League, then I'll be out there, give my sign, getting this man a trophy. But all I'll say is the talk about him. I saw in the reports that him going upstairs, like doing like, oh yeah, we if he goes, we don't review his contract, we'll give him a job upstairs to do what?
Yeah,
to do what? Not to manage transfers. You don't put Diver and Dave on top ahead of transfers. So what is he going to do? Like, I don't understand it. But yeah, and finally, we need to sort out our defense because we're leaking goals left, right, and
I was about
centre.
to say 12 goals in 5 Premier League games against.
And we've
Everton,
got a defensive
Forest,
manager.
Brentford, David R just said that's got to be worrying, right? 12 goals.
It is worrying. It don't make sense to me. We've got good players in defence. So I don't know. And this is a defensive manager that can't seem to coach a defense right now. So yeah, it is a concern. I think the only clean sheet we had was against Sheffield United in the league. So speaks volumes, mate. But listen, I'll be back here. Burnley. Listen, if we lose to Burnley, I'm not having it. And I don't care. Clip me up. I'll deserve it because there's no flipping way. That team, unless they sack, I'm telling you, there's no way we're losing to Burnley. No way. I don't care. I'm putting my neck on the line. We are not losing to Burnley unless they sack Company and they get new manager bounce. We are not losing to Company's Burnley. Away. Don't matter. Home, away, they get slapped regardless. There is no way. I'm not accepting it. Just like Everton, I'm not accepting it. If we lose that game, I swear, I'm not. He should be sacked on that alone. That's all I'm saying. Can't be losing.
Hey, guys, make sure you tune into that show, man. That'll be Monday, the 27th of November, 2 weeks today. That is going to be hilarious, man. You know what I mean? If Burnley get the W there, or even a draw, to be honest, that's...
If we win it, we could potentially go... So we could go above Newcastle if they lose their next game, which is against Chelsea.
Nah, you can't because of goal difference, isn't it?
Goal difference.
Well, how much goal difference they are? All right, fair enough. We have a little goal. Oh, what was it? Potts told us we'd be joint seventh. Remember that joint thing? Oh, yeah, we're joint. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, we're joint seventh. When he tried to say he was joint first when Spurs had the better goal difference and they were first and they were second. We're joint top. No, mate, you're second. Sit down. So yeah, I could use the Potts logic and say we'd be joint with Newcastle, joint seventh.
Right, well, there you go. Sam, you've got your clip there if you want to use it. Right, big up, people. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you drop a like on this stream. Make sure you leave your comments down below if you're watching this back on the replay. Feel free to cook Dan Potts and Sam for total shambles, to be honest, of an organisation. But we did manage to pull through. Big up to Northside for jumping on, bro. Pete as well, as always, holding that L pretty firm, I've got to say, to be honest. And Lawless, who has given us some clippable content for 2 weeks' time. Drop a like, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one. See you in a bit.